Hi children, welcome. Welcome to today's social science class. In this video, I am going to explain about a changing environment and the beginning of farming and herding and about the domestication and about a new way of life. A changing environment. Around 12,000 years ago, there were major changes in the climate of the world with a shift to relatively warm conditions. In many areas, this led to the development of grasslands. This in turn led to an increase in the number of deer, antelope, goat, sheep, and cattle, etc. Animals that survived on grass. Those who hunted these animals now followed them, learning about their food habits and their breeding seasons. It is likely that this helped people to start thinking about herding and rearing these animals themselves. Fishing also became important. The beginning of farming and herding. This was also a time when several grain bearing grasses, including wheat, barley, and rice, grew naturally in different parts of the subcontinent. Men, women, and children probably collected these grains as food and learned where they grew and when they ripened. This may have led them to think about growing plants on their own. In this way, people become farmers. People could also attract and then tame animals by leaving food for them near their shelters. The first animal to be tamed was the wild ancestor of the dog. Later, people encouraged animals that were relatively gentle to come near the campus where they lived. These animals, such as sheep, goat, cattle, and also the pig, lived in herders, and most of them ate grass. Often, people protected these animals from attacks by other wild animals. This is how they become herders. Domestication. Domestication is the name given the process in which people grow plants and look after animals. Very often, plants and animals that are tended by people become different from wild plants and animals. This is because people select plants and animals for domestication. For example, they select those plants and animals that are not prone to diseases. They also select plants that yield large size grain and have strong stack capable of bearing the weight of the ripened grain. Seeds from selected plants are preserved and shown to ensure that new plants will have the same qualities. Amongst animals, those that are relatively gentle are selected for breeding. As a result, gradually domesticated animals and plants become different from wild animals and plants. For example, the teeth and horns of wild animals are usually much larger than those of domesticated animals. Look at these two sets of teeth. Which do you think belongs to a wild pig and which to a domesticated one? So usually the big one it is a wild pig and that small teeth that is domesticated animal's teeth. Okay. Domestication was a gradual process that took place in many parts of the world. It began about 12,000 years ago. Virtually, all the plants and animal produce that we use as food today is result of domestication. Some of the earliest plants to be domesticated were wheat and barley. The earliest domesticated animals include sheep and goat. A new way of life. If you plant a seed, you will notice that it takes some time to grow. This may be several days, weeks, months, and in some cases, years. When people began growing plants, it meant that they had to stay in the same place for a long time, looking after the plants, watering, weeding, driving away animals and birds, till the grain ripened. And then the grain had to be used carefully. As grain had to be stored for both food and seed, people had to think of ways of storing it. In many areas, they began making large clay pots or wove baskets or dug pits into the ground. Ways in which grains was used. The grains was used as a seed, as a food, as a gift, stored for food. Finding out about the first farmers and herders. Children, take page number 13, map 2. You will notice a number of blue squares. Each marks a site from where archaeologists have found evidence of early farmers and herders. These are found all over the subcontinent. Some of the most important ones are in the northwest, in present day Kashmir, and in east and south India. To find out whether these sites were settlements of farmers and herders, scientists study evidence of plants and animals' bones. One of the most existing finds include remains of burnt grain. Those may have been burned accidentally or non purpose. Scientists can identify these grains, and so we know that a number of crops were grown in different parts of the subcontinent. They can also identify the bones of different animals. Towards a settled life, archaeologists have found traces of huts or houses at some sites. For instance, in Barsa home, in present day Kashmir, people built pit houses which are dug into the ground with steps leading into them. These may have provided shelter in cold weather. Archaeologists have also found cooking hearths both inside and outside the huts, which suggests that depending on the weather, people could cook food either indoors or outdoors. Stone tools have been found from many sites as well. Many of these are different from the earlier Paleolithic tools, and that is why they are called Neolithic. These include tools that were polished to give a fine cutting edge, and mortars and pestles used for grinding grains and other plant produce. Mortars and pestles are used for grinding grain even today, several thousand years later. At the same time, tools of the Paleolithic types continue to be made and used, and remember, some tools were also made of bones. Many kinds of earthen pots have been also been found. These were sometimes decorated and were used for storing things. People began using pots for cooking food, especially grains like rice, wheat, and lentils that now become an important part of that diet. Besides, they began weaving clothes using different kinds of materials, for example, cotton that could now be grown. A closer look, living and dying in Mahargra. Find Mahargra on map 2, page number 13. The site is located in a fertile plain near the Bolan Pass, which is one of the most important routes into Iran. Mahargra was probably one of the places where people learned to grow barley and wheat and rear sheep and goats for the first time in this area. It is one of the earliest villages that we know about. At this site, many animals' bones were found. Bones of wild animals such as the deer and pig, and also bones of sheep and goat were found. Other finds at Mahargra include remains of square or rectangular houses. Each house had 4 or more compartments, some of which may have been used for storage. When people die, their relatives and friends generally pay respect to them. People look after them, perhaps in the belief that there is some form of life after death. Burial is one such arrangement. Several burial sites have been found at Mahagra. In one instance, the dead person was buried with goats, which were probably meant to serve as food in the next world. Okay, children, let us wind up today's class. Now you have to read this chapter many times and underline important points. Then do given works. Thank you. Thank you to listening my class.